Today we're going to be installing the Wilwood Big Brake Kit. Once you have the brake rotors off, what you're going to need to do is use a little bit of heat. It didn't take very long, probably 5-10 seconds or so, just to heat up each one of the bolts because there's a little bit of Loctite on them from the factory, and then they just come right out and stuff with a little encouragement from the impact gun. So you're going to repeat this for all 4 of the bolts holding the rotor onto the spindle. Nailed it. That is a little warm. Okay.
Yeah, touch the bolt now. No? Oh. Maybe I was just being a bitch.
I mean, they're hot, but that one was hot. Okay. Once you've got the rotor off of the hub, all I'm doing is just using a razor blade just to scrape away some of the residual Loctite and stuff like that and clean it up. And also off camera, I cleaned up the hub as well. So now this will go, what? Didn't it go that way?
Mm-hmm.
Like that, like kind of straddles them, right?
Are we doing this backwards?
And that goes that way? No. I don't know how we could.
I don't remember having a bolt.
Wilwood gives you brand new fresh hardware for all this stuff. So best just to use that, and then also definitely be sure to Loctite everything. We used red Loctite on all the hardware and fasteners. Get these started. Because it was kind of a pain to try to hold the rotor and then both rings, I just put a couple fasteners in each just to kind of hold it together, and then we went through, put Loctite on everything, pulled out those ones that I put in to originally just kind of hold everything, and then Loctited those as well. All right, 20 foot-pounds.
Yep.
Ready.
Yep. Last one.
Heck yeah. And as with everything on this, I always mark my fasteners with a paint pen just to make sure that nothing's rotated or anything like that or come loose. Super easy to check at a glance. All right, so we got one side all together, right? Everything is torqued. You torque these down to 240 inch-pounds, which is 20 foot-pounds. The rotor still moves this way a tiny bit. That's just because it's floating, and it was a 5mm Allen is what torqued those down. All right. Let's clean this. Now we're putting the hub and the rotor back on. Okay. And then we're installing the caliper mounting bracket. Because this rotor is a little bit larger than the stock one, this bracket not only mounts the caliper on there, it also helps relocate it out a little farther. And then the 4 fasteners that go into this bracket are going to be torqued to 35 foot-pounds, and you'll definitely want to make sure to throw some Loctite on those as well. Do you want to snug them down with a ratchet, or do you want the torque wrench?
I'll snug it first, but we need to, let me finish threading this one in, like so. We'll pull this one out. Put some Okay, torque.
You just double check it, but I'm 97.5% sure it's correct.
Yep.
Okay. Snap.
That would be my luck, dude. On your project. I'd be like, well, I'm going home.
Let me Loctite this.
And then these are 35 foot-pounds as well. Okay. Oh man, that fits so money. Something about buying a name brand quality product that's just...
It just works like it should?
It's just so satisfying to put together.
Here, I'll let you do that one. Well, that's part of the reason for all this is the timeline. Don't have time to deal with any oops. All right, this is super ironic, considering Garrett and I both were just talking about how it's so nice when products just fit like they should and everything else, because we're just now realizing this caliper does not totally fit on here. It's actually called out in the directions from Wilwood that you might have to shave down the knuckle a little bit where the caliper mounts because it interferes. We just never noticed that because we didn't read the directions at first. Let's take the rotor off. Actually, here, hold on. Before you take that off, let's mark it so I know how much I need to take off, you know? So now we're going to mark it so that way when I do use the flap disc on the grinder, I'll be able to see how much I need to shave off of this, and it makes it a lot easier when you're doing it as opposed to just, and also you can make sure you're doing it in the right spot too. Yeah.
Because it's hitting in here, right?
Yeah, cut all that off. Okay. All right.
Can I take this off now?
Yeah. Okay. There's the impact gun. You want to take that rotor off? We'll get the grinder. Go ahead.
Ricky and the boss.
Pretty much. Even though you only see us grinding this down one time, it actually took us 3 different times of, you know, grind a little bit, check, grind a little bit, check. All right, that's gonna be good enough. And then the GoPro that you can see down there in the lower part of the screen died. Once we got the caliper fitted up and everything and we made sure that it worked, then we bolted the rotor back on, and now we're putting the caliper back on.
You too good for your home?
Just put it in the gun, spin it up to full RPM, and just shove it on there and see what happens.
Does NASCAR pit crew? There it is.
Just sometimes you gotta do it. Now we're caught back up. Now
good enough to hold it.
Now we're good. Torque goes at 35. Double check this. Oh yeah. Oh
okay.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
You might want to I did have to touch the edge of that rotor.
Oh. Reclaim the baby impact gun right behind you, please. Now that the caliper and the rotor are on, now we're taking the old caliper off and gonna put the new banjo bolt and crush washers on and then install that into the new caliper. When you break the brake system open like this, you're gonna have to re-bleed it, so do not forget to re-bleed it. Otherwise, you won't have a brake pedal. Okay. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Now when you're trying to get this brake line bolted up onto the new caliper, it definitely is awkward. You can tell that it's not totally wanting to bend that way just because they're steel braided lines and they've been bent a certain way for several years. So it definitely takes a little bit of finagling to get it on there. You can get it on there nicely, but it's not bad once you do though.
All right, now try kind of turning it like lock to lock. Let's just kind of make sure that nothing.
Obviously, that's gonna be fine.
It's a whole lot of drift angle.
And that's full lock and no tension at all. Sweet. So you're dialed there.
Heck yeah. Clean this off.
Just a little reminder for you guys, before you install the brake pads, make sure you wipe the rotor down with some brake cleaner really good, just to get any oils or any manufacturing oils on there or anything like that. Just make sure to get all that off there. Don't want to ruin your brake pads within the first couple brake applications.
That is the coolest system I've ever seen.
Welcome to race cars, bud.
Dude.
Welcome to race cars.
Why is every vehicle not set up that way? I honestly don't. That cannot be that much more expensive. Can't. That's bull. I'm right now. Because I fought pads on so many vehicles.
Hey, that's how easy it is.
Success.
New Wilwood big brake kit.
Just need a little bleeding and...
Heck yeah.